You know, there used to be a time when the absolute most complicated thing in your house was the VCR. You'd squint at that blinking 12:00 or try to set a timer, basically give up and just tape over a family video.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Right. Welcome to today's deep dive. Because we are taking that exact frustration and mounting it right on your wall. Only now, it's 2026, and we are decoding AI-integrated learning thermostats. Our mission for you today is to figure out if devices like the Nest Gen 4 or the ecobee Premium are actually saving you money, or if they're just, quietly spying on your breathing.
Spying on your breathing is a very real way to put it. We've moved so far past basic on and off dials, it's wild. These aren't just following a schedule you punch in anymore.
Okay, let's unpack this, because instead of an invisible butler just doing what it's told, it's more like a digital detective building a behavioral profile.
Exactly. It actively builds a probabilistic model of your life based on movement and thermal decay. And it uses that profile to master the laws of thermodynamics. What's fascinating here is the basic physics rule. Basically, reducing the temperature gradient between your indoors and the outdoors saves energy. Specifically, for every degree Celsius you adjust the thermostat for, say, at least 8 hours, you theoretically see a 2% reduction in your heating bill.
2%. Okay,
Sure.
But to get that math perfectly right, the device has to know you're actually gone.
Yeah.
And that's where the 2026 models get, really crazy.
Oh, absolutely. They've moved way past those old infrared motion sensors. You know, the ones that would shut the heat off just because you were sitting perfectly still on the couch reading a book?
Oh, I hated those. You'd have to wave your arms around just to get the heat back on.
Right, right. So now they use advanced radar technology. They can detect micro movements through obstacles. They are literally sensing the rise and fall of your chest as you breathe.
Wow.
Yeah, just to completely eliminate those false away scenarios.
But wait, if this radar is so perfect and the thermodynamic math is flawless, why is the EPA saying we only save an average of 8%? That's like $50 a year for the median homeowner. There seems to be this massive disconnect between perfect AI math and the actual utility bill.
Yeah, there is. And the biggest glitch in the AI's perfect system is, well, human behavior.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, the National Bureau of Economic Research looked into this and identified what they call a massive efficiency gap, because users constantly ruin the AI's math.
Which makes total sense when you think about it. The algorithm calculates it can drop your house to 62 degrees while you sleep to maximize those savings.
Right, but then you wake up shivering at 3 a.m.
Exactly. You kick off the blankets, march down the hall, and manually crank the heat up to 72. You just completely overshoot the target and ruin the math entirely.
That is the exact friction point. We are incredibly stubborn when we are cold. And this raises an important question about whether humans can actually comply with automated efficiency.
Although there was a Georgia Tech study that suggests we might actually be trainable.
Oh, the demand response study.
Yeah. They looked at users who opted into automated demand response events, basically where the utility company slightly adjusts the temperature in your home, maybe 1 to 5 degrees, during peak grid times.
And, the discomfort during those events was real. But the majority of people actually tolerated. They didn't go and override the system.
Which proves we can handle it.
It proves that default settings, once accepted, can drive real behavioral change on a large scale.
But for that system to know you're asleep, awake, or away in the first place, it has to collect a massive amount of data. Right. To get those savings, the thermostat has to harvest a highly granular digital twin of your home's activity.
Right, tracking your exact occupancy and network metadata.
So what does this all mean?
Well, you are trading a degree of privacy for that efficiency, and your exposure depends heavily on who you trust with that data footprint. The market is clearly split right now. ecobee, for instance, has historically refused constant data collection requests from Amazon's Alexa integration.
Right, positioning themselves as super privacy-centric.
Exactly.
Well, on the other side, you have Nest, which operates seamlessly within the massive Google ecosystem, which, inevitably brings up concerns about surveillance capitalism since they're pulling all that home behavioral data into a broader profile of you.
Yeah, and beyond the data footprint, there are physical hardware risks to consider, too.
Hardware risks? Like what?
Well, these smart displays and constant Wi-Fi connections require a lot of continuous power. If your home doesn't have a dedicated 24-volt C-wire, these devices resort to what's called power stealing from the HVAC system just to stay online.
Oh, yikes. Which is essentially like trying to power your high-end laptop by siphoning electricity through your house's fragile doorbell wires.
That's a great way to put it. Eventually, something is going to short out. And in this case, it can severely damage sensitive HVAC control boards.
Wow.
Not to mention the cloud dependency factor. If the manufacturer's cloud server goes down for an afternoon, your elite, radar-equipped AI assistant instantly turns into a dumb piece of plastic on your wall.
Right. It can't process those complex probabilistic models without its external brain.
Exactly. It's totally reliant on the cloud.
So we're dealing with physical hardware risks, serious data privacy trade-offs, and an AI that we're constantly fighting over the thermostat dial.
Yeah, it's a lot. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, learning thermostats in 2026 aren't just gadgets anymore. They have evolved into the primary interface between your private living room and the macro-scale energy grid.
Which leaves you, listening right now, with something to really mull over. Utility companies are aggressively subsidizing these devices. They're offering heavy rebates to get them onto your wall, specifically to manage grid demand and avoid building expensive new power plants. So, are we moving toward a future where your home's temperature is actually dictated by the grid's needs rather than your own personal comfort? Think about that the next time your digital detective decides you've had enough heat for the day.